Are these gonna be the types of ZA's Mega Starters? Hey there, so you know those 7-star Tera Raids? A lot of those mighty unrivaled Pokemon you were able to challenge were starters. Some of them just kept one of their original typings as their Tera, but the rest got some other sensible typing, usually relating to move that the Pokemon can learn. Except Infernape, which just uses Rock-type Tera Blast. In the cases of only 2 Pokemon that would change type if they Mega Evolved, that's the type they would get in the raids. It's the Dragon type in both cases. So I think we all know where this is going. Assuming Meganium, Emboar, and Feraligatr get Megas in ZA, are they gonna be Grass Psychic, Fire Electric, and Water Dark? It's a possibility. If a Mega changes type at all, it's always gonna change into something that was already somewhat present in the original Pokemon. Mega Ampharos activates its dormant Dragon's Blood, so do Charizard X and Sceptile. Gyarados was already very aggressive and dark in nature. Aggron actually loses its Rock type because the Steel drowned it out. Mewtwo X, it uses its weird modified Mew body to extend its limbs enough to grab that fighting type, and in the case of Pinsir, its real-life counterparts can fly, so it becomes slightly more realistic, huh? Now, explaining these types isn't as easy. Well, for alligators is. It bites, and that's mean. But otherwise, anybody that's used Meganium in a playthrough might know that its only interesting strategy is setting up Light Screen and Reflect. And those are psychic moves. Those are also status moves, so it doesn't really matter, but we know they take some kind of psychic abilities to pull off. Maybe. I found that Geranium, the flower that might have inspired Meganium, or at the very least its name, was sometimes used to make people happy, along with other plants. But I don't know if that's a particularly psychic type thing to do. I guess they could go a similar route to Delphox, making Meganium a kind of witch, but one that uses their magic to make you happy. That sounds a bit like a fairy type though, no? And yeah, the general consensus is that Meganium will instead gain the fairy type. Fairy types help flowers grow, and Chikorita had Disarming Voice in that one trailer. I mean, as Megas gain types that already could have made sense for the original, they kinda have to set that up a bit beforehand, lore-wise. Now, Electric type Emboar is a bit of a reach. I don't really think there's any lore explaining this. Emboar did always learn Wild Charge through TM, even in Gen 5, and it got Thunder Punch later on. I don't think it's impossible. You can use electricity to produce heat. Think electric stoves, for example. That might be a little similar to Centiskorch's whole bit, which isn't electric type actually, but they could make it work. I think Emboar losing the fighting type feels bizarre too, but it would be in a similar situation to Charizard then, only that it probably wouldn't be popular enough to get another Mega with its original typing. But it doesn't have to make sense. Unlike Mega Evolutions, most Terrestrialized Pokemon could have any type. Most of them just seem to be a reference to something anyways. Some of my favorites are Poison Terra Greninja, because poisonous frogs exist, but also ninjas, especially in Pokemon, have historically been poison-type specialists. Or Bug Samurott, because bugs are known to have long spiky stingers, similar to Samurott's shell spikes and swords. And of course it has Mega Horn to go with it. That's the reason it's a bug type move after all. Man, I would like to see a bug type in the future that doesn't necessarily look like a real life animal that could, with the broadest of definitions, be called a bug, but instead a Pokemon that just has bug qualities and behaves like a bug, if that makes any sense. Anyways, for Mega purposes, I don't know man, these connections are pretty loose. I'm leaning towards no. But that means even Feraligatr won't be Dark type. Or it will. It's not all or nothing. I think there are more creative options for Mega Feraligatr, but Megas don't take a lot of creative liberties anyways. So it's that much more interesting that some of these Tera-Types do seem very straightforward, and others not at all. almost as if they weren't chosen with the future megas in mind. But maybe they were and are supposed to hint towards the new megas typings. Or they are trying not to reveal those typings and thus have to settle on these less fitting ones. Also, maybe the megas don't change type at all. They rarely do. Bye!